Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about bullies and the effect that they have on themselves. And yes, they do have an effect on themselves, something that most people would not consider. So, back when I was in high school, um, as you probably know, I did not go for most of the time, but for the first few months, I did go pretty solidly every day. And three of the biggest bullies around school, they they had backgrounds, right? They had a lot of issues at home that they were dealing with themselves. And the more that they bullied others, the bigger those issues became, not just with their parents, but also for them mentally, because they knew that it was wrong. They are very well aware, but unfortunately, it's just not always enough because, whatever the reason may be, parents not being there, neglect, or maybe something that I'm going through now with my dad is, you know healthcare. um, the number one bully, his mom had a brain tumor, and it was aggressive. His dad walked out on them years ago, years before, and it made him go haywire. Does this excuse anything that he's done or said? No, absolutely not. However, it's not like it's not completely his fault. Yes, it was his choice to do so, but sometimes your frustrations get the best of you, your judgment gets the best of you, and therefore, is it completely his fault? No, I just don't think so. Of course, that could be just my personal opinion. If you don't agree with that, that is absolutely fine. Again, I'm not excusing the things that he's done, the things other bullies do, but sometimes they just need a little bit compassion to change. Because I remember that there was a moment when I talked to him and he broke down crying. After that, he stopped bullying me completely. That was only this person. I didn't talk to the other guys, but he completely stopped bullying me. And he explained everything what was going on, and he felt like a weight had been lifted off his chest. And it seemed like he changed, not just toward me, but towards others as well. Now, again, especially during high school, when you're already having so many emotions and so many painful things going on in your life, this will just add up. And for many that I have personally asked, school was more or less survival, not necessarily um, a good school experience, but for many who were bullied, every day was surviving. This is basically the story of my friend as well, and that's how she basically came to her negative thoughts recently. Again, I don't want to say certain things out loud, so I do need to really think things through, and that's what you see me do when I slow down. Um, because these are sensitive subjects, right? These are very, very sensitive subjects. And to make things a little bit worse in a way, she is trans. And many of you will agree or disagree or whatever. I'm asking you right now to think about the things that you may have said or may not have said to somebody, no matter who this person is, no matter their gender or biological, whatever it may be, even those sexual preferences. Like, people these days do not watch their words carefully enough. I notice that people are often reckless with their words, don't think them through as much, and I've seen people suffer because of it, and my friend is one of them. Now, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a big fan of the whole trans thing that's going on. I have my personal views on it. They're not negative, but they are fearful. If you want me to go into details about this, about how I think about it, well, then here it is. If you don't want me to talk, or if you don't want to hear anything about the trans subject, this is the moment to click away. I will wish you a good night and leave it at that. But here are my views on it. I believe that there is a very strong percentage that is absolutely and truly transgender, that are born in the wrong body. And for them, I am truly happy and even grateful to the medical industry that there are options for them to be able to become who they are. However, I'm also very fearful of the future when it comes to the, yeah, it's difficult to explain. I feel like there's a trend going on, a very big trend where especially young kids are being influenced by other people, or by woke people, or even by their own family members, from what I have gathered. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. These are my personal views. These are my personal opinions. Please do not hate on me. I am trying to educate myself even more than I already have. And I know multiple trans people who do agree with my views. And this trend is becoming rapid, especially young teens who do not really know how they feel. They're getting influenced into thinking that being a tomboy means that they're supposed to be a boy instead of a girl who's just a tomboy, nothing. Or young boys who are just feminine, who are being influenced to, to be asked and to be said, like, by other people, like, well, maybe you're a girl. And especially for young teens, I find that very dangerous because they don't really know who they are yet. And that's something that is widely said amongst those I know, those I've talked to of the trans community, that that do agree with this in a way of it is very dangerous. And most of those who got influenced as teens either regret it and were able to stop in time, but there's also a very large percentage that have gone through all the surgeries. And that's something that just cannot be undone. That's something you can never get back. So for those people, I am truly sorry that the whole woke thing and the whole trend has influenced them so much that they got confused, or I don't know. Again, I'm trying to be respectful because I do absolutely respect these people. If you tell me that you're a guy, you're a guy. If you tell me you're a girl, you're a girl. It's simple as that. If you tell me you're a woman, it doesn't matter to me what body you were born in. I will respect you and care about you no matter what. And this is a very difficult subject for me. I mean, obviously, because I am worried about how people will respond to this. But I have people who have asked me to speak out on this, and so I will. But again, I believe that there's a very strong percentage that are truly transgender, but I am seriously worried for those who aren't, who got confused, and who later might regret what's done to their body. And as somebody who is thinking about having children, who really wants to have kids, you know, if my child one day comes home and tells me, Mom, I've had an epiphany, I've talked to my friends, and I've come to the conclusion that I am trans, how do I deal with this? How do I know whether or not what they're telling me is true? How do I know what's right? Because part of me is gonna say, okay, I will support you in every single decision and everything you want, and I will give you everything you need to be what you want to be who you want to be. But what if that is the wrong decision in that moment? What if 10 years from that moment, my child will tell me, you were a horrible mother for supporting me in this because I was just a kid, I didn't know what I was doing, and I have made these decisions, and you were supposed to protect me, but I've made a mistake, I wasn't trans at all. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you, as parent, deal with something like that? That's something that truly scares me. Because it's not like coming out to your parents as, you know, if you have a child, it's not like hearing from your child, well, Mom, I'm gay. Okay, perfect. Well, perfect. I mean, sure, that's fine. Anything you want, as long as you're loved, as long as you're happy, cool. But this is such a heavy subject, such a deep and heavy subject. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that as a parent? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I would say because I want to be supportive. But how do I know that this is permanent, that this isn't just a phase like the gothic phase, or, you know, the gothic phase we've all had, I guess, or the I'm weird phase, or whatever. How do I know that this is what's real? And I guess that's the difficult part. Anyways, you have asked for my opinions. I have given them to you. I hope you understand and respect me the way that I do respect you. I hope that you understand that I do not mean to insult anyone, and that I do not mean to cause any problems. And I hope you understand that no matter who you are, no matter your sexuality, no matter your gender, no matter what you might call yourself, I hope that you understand that I care about you deeply, about everybody, because I believe that life is precious. And I respect you for who you are. I do. Absolutely do. And I hope you understand where my fear comes from. Because, again, it's something I am very supportive, but I'm honest about my feelings. Always have been. And I think that's very important towards anybody who asks me something real. So these are my views. These are how I feel about it. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say at this point. Anyways, again, I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna wish everybody a very good night, a very good evening, a very good day, and a very good morning. And I hope to see you all in my next video. I love you and have a good night.